Hello everyone. Thanks for keeping it locked on the People's Telly, OGTV. Welcome to Your Image, the public relations program on television. I am Dare FOLARIN. Today, we are discussing a fresh issue, the issue of the role of culture in storytelling. Storytelling is a key strategic tool that we use in public relations to use narratives to establish communication with stakeholders, to build trust, and to engage generally. Today, we are looking at culture as fundamentals for authentic storytelling. And I have with me a juggernaut in the field of culture. I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Lizzie Adeboyejo to the program. Welcome to Your Image, madam.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Culture is said to be a people's way of life. Culture involves cuisine, our fashion, everything about us, our way of life generally. And in public relations, you need to tell compelling stories. Today, in contemporary public relations, brands are telling great stories about their brands, connecting emotively with people. But let's start this way. Dr. Lizzie Adeboyejo, what to you is culture? And how do you think culture can enhance our storytelling capabilities in public relations and also give solutions to problems?
Thank you very much. When we talk about culture, like I generally tell people, the way you behave is your culture.
Yes.
What you eat is your culture. The language you speak and the dress you wear. You know, all this encompassing is what we call culture, because as time goes on, you find out that you keep doing this thing every day of your life. And out of this, we have fundamentally, we talk about the dress we wear,
right,
the way we dress.
Right.
Because right now, the way I am dressed, somebody looking at me knows I'm putting on Adire, and without having to say anything, they know I'm from Ogun State. Yeah.
Okay, they know you are from Ogun State. That's interesting. So tell us, public relations is about solving problems. We have peculiar problems in Nigeria. You know, we need foreign exchange. And we keep helping other countries to build their own. This is what gave rise to the Nigeria First policy. And let's start from fabrics. We see that you are doing wonderful things now with our fabrics, you know, because I visited the Ashani and Aduke Foundation, and I saw you using Adire to make duvet, Adire to make shoes, Adire to make caps. So tell us more about this.
Okay, well, like I said earlier on, that part of our culture is the way we dress, and what we have indigenously is this our Adire. And out of the passion for this and concern for this aspect of our culture not to go into extinction is what brought about what we are doing, you know, at our foundation. Right. And the way we are doing this is to bring youths and women into this, because we discover that you find youths of nowadays, they prefer to go for foreign things while leaving our own culture, which is being globally, you know, embraced by foreigners. So we're working on this and ensuring that not just making Adire, but we ensure that we put so many value additions into this Adire value chain.
What are these value additions?
Well, when you talk about it, you just mention one because you've been to our center and you've seen a lot we do. We make shoes. We go as far as making soft furnishings. You talk about beddings, duvet, throw pillows, you make tote bags.
Madam, is this lucrative? Because, you know, some of our young ones are there looking, waiting. Is this lucrative? Can somebody make money?
We're mentioning all these things. You know that they are day-to-day needs. We can't go out without wearing a dress. We don't go out without carrying a bag. You don't go out without wearing a shoe. You get home, you want to sleep on your bed. You need a bedspread on it. No matter how little you are going to put a bedspread.
So there's demand for it.
So there's demand for it. And especially outside Nigeria, we have a huge demand for all these things that we're doing. And that is why we're calling youths, women, and saying, okay, come into this industry. Instead of thinking of going over there where you don't have the avenue to do all this production. We have all it takes here in Nigeria, here in Ogun State, to produce all this thing and to make it available for the foreigners, for outside world.
Okay, that's much for fabrics.
Yeah.
Let's look at our cuisine. It's so funny now that when you go out there, you see our children, our youth, and people, even elderly ones, craving for pizzas. Pizza is not going to bring money to Nigeria. Pizza will give money to Italy. So what happened to our kokoro? What happened to our igbo? What happened to soups like ishapa? It's been long that I saw that. What happened to groundnut soup? Tell us more about this. How can we use cuisines to tell our authentic story?
Well, thank you. I love it that you are mentioning this. At the opening, I told you that there are so many things, that brings about our culture. When you are talking about a country or a town or a state, you're talking about their culture, those four things are fundamental, and food is part of it. Right. And I just wonder, and it keeps baffling me, why we will prefer a foreign food to our own. Because one thing we need to know is that there's a reason we are created at the region we are created. And the way God created us, the foods available at that region are the healing food for your system.
Healing?
Yeah,
okay.
They are the healing thing for your system. So I wonder why we crave for foreign things. If you've been to our place, you know that when we want to entertain you, we entertain you with the local snacks like our kokoro, like our adon, robo,
okay.
And so on.
Can you help us to connect the healing parts? For instance, if I eat kokoro now, what am I going to benefit? Nutrition?
Okay, now you are eating kokoro. It's a cornmeal,
right?
And it has oil, right, and some little spice.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have some of the health benefits. You have oil, you have protein, and you have carbohydrates.
Amazing.
So just snacking on kokoro can give you energy.
Okay. What about adun?
When you eat adun is equally cornmeal, but it has pepper in it.
Okay.
Adun has pepper in it, and it has palm oil, and it has maize is the main thing,
which is good for the body.
Yes, they are good for the body. You have your carbohydrates already. You have your fat and oil in little quantity. So all these are our local dishes.
What of robo?
When you talk about robo is made with melon.
Okay.
It's made with roasted melon, milled, and robo is very nutritious and low in fat because in preparing robo, you have to squeeze out the excess oil before you now fry it.
Okay, what about igbo?
When you talk about igbo, you're still, funny enough, you are just going into cornmeal.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we are doing cornmeal. We have ikokore there.
Right.
We have wadalu.
Okay.
We have amala dudu and begiri and ewedu,
right,
amala and eforiro. Lafun and eforiro, lafun and gure oloboro. Look at gure oloboro. Look, gure oloboro is so easy and cheap to make, but at the same time very nutritious. Because you have locust bean in it, you have different kind of smoked fish in it, and then it's going with either amala or going with eba. So nutritious, and you're making me crave for this right now.
Okay, let's look at our music. Let's look at our music. Because there's no way, I mean, in the world now, the world is celebrating our music.
Yeah.
It's Afro beats.
Yes.
That's what the rave of the moment.
Yeah.
So talk to us about our music. How can you use our music to communicate?
Oh, well, you still take me back to the opening of this program when I said the language we speak.
Right.
And music is one of a language, that you speak, that every soul. Because when you talk about music, whether you understand Yoruba or not, somebody was at a facility center for a research from the US, and he was talking about a particular artist that produced a song for him and said, right now in the US, every second, he practically showed me his phone and see what is coming in on this music from the US. Every second, people are downloading that music. And I said, come to think of it, this music was sung in Yoruba. How come? He said, it's not about the language. The music is speaking to the spirit. And so music will break the boundary, will break the barrier of language when you talk about music. So we don't have to worry, because nowadays when I see some of our young ones coming up speaking, singing hip hop, and they want to force themselves to do it in English, I just look at you, you don't understand music. Because no matter the language you sing your song, the music is communicating with the spirit and not just physical. So I want to encourage our youth to ensure that you know, most of the things you are doing, let it be deeply rooted in our cultural, you know, source. Okay. Ensure that whatever you are doing, you are putting your culture in it, because out there people can only identify you through your culture. And the 4 ways is the food you eat. Sometimes last week I was in Ibadan with an elderly statesman, and when he asked me, he said, what do you want to eat? And I said, oh no, sorry, I've eaten this morning and I just took ikokore. And just there, he said, oh, you are from Ijebu, you are in Ijebu. I said, yes, because the food you eat talks about where you are from, the language you speak. When you greet somebody and say, Eka Arosa, kneeling down, you need not to tell them that you are a Yoruba person. You know, so same thing with our music industry. I want to implore our youths to ensure that they try as much as possible, if not 80%, if not 100%, but let's take it from 60, not less than 60% of our culture, you know, reflecting in whatever we do.
I want to look at the, you know, value chain in a direct production. You know, how do you make these things, and where do you spend forex, and what can we do, you know, at home to, you know, indigenize these maybe dyes and everything that you use?
Okay, yeah, that is a major challenge that we are facing, you know, in the Adire industry. I must say all the time when we talk about this, you find out that most of the material we use, most of them are foreign materials. But what happens to our indigo? Till this morning that I'm talking to you, this afternoon rather, pardon me, you know, we still fetch for indigo leaf as weed, not as a plant that we have a plantation where we can actually go there and fetch and process this. We still scout for it all about. So number one thing is the dye, which is our own natural dye, which is well sorted after. You find out that when foreigners want anything Adire, they're looking for the indigo, because indigo is a natural dye without chemical. So in the value chain of Adire, we really need, Ministry of Agriculture is the key agency that can partner with us in this industry. Number one, planting indigo in several hectares, and number two, let's revive our cotton industry, because cotton is the major thing that we use in Adire industry, and those major area has to be revived. Let's have cotton plantation back so that we can begin to mill our own cotton here, and then we have our natural dye, not just indigo. We can actually dye with kola nut.
Really?
Oh yes, we can dye with turmeric.
Oh,
and yes, there are so many vegetables and so many fruits we can actually dye. And believe you me, natural dye is more expensive when you finish the product than the synthetic dye, because many people are afraid of hurting themselves or getting irritated with the chemicals that is involved in doing the modern dyeing.
Okay, there was another thing that I learned, that all these patterns, they communicate. They say something. In fact, you actually showed me an Adire design that is, you know, is tied to a mood, somebody's mood, or that communicates, that tells you what the person wants to do. Tell us more about this communication of patterns.
Oh yeah, it's very interesting, and I love you coming up with all these questions. And like you have seen at Shadi and Aduke Facility Center, that we have a mini museum where we display all Adire patterns. Like I do tell people, and I say that Adire is unlike other fabrics. It's unlike other clothing. When you are wearing Adire, you are passing a message. Adire speaks. So most of the design, especially our Asian designs, you find out that they are not just worn carelessly, they are worn for a purpose. Like I showed you the other time, we have, okay, let me, for instance, the one I'm wearing right now, we call it kokoro. Or you call it blade. Okay. And when you have a closer look at it, you see that the shape is looking like a millipede. Okay. Yeah, or looking like a razor blade. Okay. Yeah. So, so also we have olomowewe, a sowewe, in which if anybody is wearing that, you don't have to ask a question. You know that this person is either a mother or a grandparent. Then we have another one we call Arin Omonimasun. If you wear Arin Omonimasun, if you wear Arin Omonimasun and you're walking around on your street, the next thing you hear people saying is congratulations, because you are trying to pass a message that you just have a newborn baby in the family, and so on and so forth. We have Owonefari that indicates that when you are going for a business meeting, when you wear that in the olden days, and they said, what kind of clothes did Grandpa wear when he was going out? Say Owonefari, oh, he must be going out for a business meeting. You know, so many and on like that. We have Alomoko, we have Tokotaya.
Oh, that's about love.
Oh yeah, that's about love and romance, you know, and so on and so forth.
Okay, you are still watching Your Image, a public relations television program on OGTV. As public relations practitioners, we analyze consequences and predict. We analyze trends and predict consequences to tease out solutions. One of the solutions we are looking at is how we can use or leverage our culture to tell compelling stories. You know, when we were growing up, when our mothers used to tell us midnight stories, tales by bedside stories, that art is lost. What can you tell our viewers about that? What does it do to the psyche of the child?
You see, when I look at people these days, you find the young ones, when they have their child, they put on the phone and put cartoon on. And of course, I just wonder, how did we get here? Because we have a lot of rhymes, a lot of stories, a lot of system that we grew up with. You know, when we finish everything in the evening, there is time for the moonlight story, that we are going to sit around the elders, and you have other young ones from the vicinity coming around to listen to stories. And these are not just mere stories, but stories that has lived with me for over, 50 years now. There are stories that you learn something. So I just wonder what you learn from cartoons that they give to children to grow up with now.
Can you sing one for us and tell us the lessons that you learned from that?
Oh, well, the popular one that I just shared with my children at the facility center was the story of dog and tortoise. There was famine in the land then, that the way it was narrated to me by my grandmother. And then, tortoise was a very funny animal. So he found a place where he can go there and eat. And somehow, by the time he got there, he met dog. Actually, dog has been going there before them. But dog, being swift and smart, would just pick one tuber of yam and run back home to the mother and feed and go. But by the time tortoise got there and found that, oh, this place is very rich, then I have to take as much as I can take. And one night he went there, and he took much more than he can carry, and the farmer got him. So when he noticed that the farmer was coming, he started singing. Meanwhile, dog has gone and said, Ajaduro Romi Leru Fere Kunfe. I don't know whether you remember that story. And he said, Bi Oduro Romi Leru Fere Kunfe, Makigbe Oloko Agbo. Meanwhile, dog has gone, and it was tortoise that the farmer met there, that caught there. And the moral of that is you have to be careful the kind of friends, the kind of company you keep, that puts tortoise into trouble. Because eventually, by the time they got home, they found dog like he has never been anywhere. He was smarter than him. He has gotten home and he was shaking like, tortoise, how can you say it was dog that brought you to this farm when he was there lying down sick? And I told the youths of today, you have to be careful the kind of friends you keep, because if you go with them, they put you into trouble, they can sort themselves out, and you'll be in trouble without any evidence. Yes, greed. It is greed that will make you to join a bad group, to go and steal something. That is the greed of tortoise. But, if tortoise wasn't greedy, and he did not follow dog to go and steal, he wouldn't have put himself in trouble anyway.
Let's quickly talk about culture because of time. Culture and our language, indigenous languages. This story that you've just told now in Yoruba is so compelling. We have word pictures. It's so it's so clear. I can picture it in my mind's eye. So what's the role of culture, you know, because of language. Because some people say they tag our Yoruba language as vernacular. So what do you have to say about this?
Honestly, it's really sad when people don't understand what vernacular means, because vernacular is a strange language in your own vicinity. Yoruba can't be vernacular in my own home.
Not at all.
English can rather be the vernacular that I'm speaking right now. So, and that is why, you know, we have come up at Ashani and Aduke Foundation to ensure that we keep and protect and sustain our heritage. And so when you come to our facility center, it is a car or a castle. But the most saddening thing, you find people saying, good morning, ma, and kneeling down. And I say, it is not your culture, because the person that owns good morning would not kneel down to greet. Yeah. So if you want to kneel down to greet me, you must say, Eka Aroma or Eka Son. I don't know how people feel, you know, without being connected to your roots, which is your culture in all ramifications, in the food you eat, in the way you dress, in the language you speak. I'm not ashamed anywhere. When I hear you speak Yoruba, then off I go. In fact, I don't understand English again. When I go to any office and I ask you what is your name is Yoruba, I say, please pardon me, because the little English I can speak is just written in a jota. I don't want to waste it. So when I meet somebody, because actually foreign language, when you speak another language, it is an opportunity and it is privilege for you to be able to communicate with somebody who doesn't understand your language. So when you meet somebody that understands your language, there's no need for it.
Okay, is there a correlation between this, our not speaking our languages, and our loss of values? You know, our value system?
Oh yes, very well. Oh yes, very well, because I have looked around and I discovered that when you look around the world and you see countries that actually communicate in their own indigenous language, you find out they are doing well more than those of us that are not using our language. Recently, I traveled outside Nigeria and I went via Ethiopian airline, and I discovered that when they want to make an announcement, they go in their local dialect first before they translate to English. Then coming back to Nigeria, just our Nigerian railway. And they were saying this and I cannot just comprehend. And I called one of them, I said, whom can I speak to here? What is the problem with us? Sometimes ago when you started this, I was hearing a car bus, railway, Nigeria, Ibiba, Ilanlo, and all that. I said, all you are speaking on this, what people heard most is just their destination. They can't pick other things. And even speaking the English, it wasn't clear enough for us to understand what you are saying. So I think we have a lot to do, and government really have to help us. It has to start from there, that every parastatals, let's speak our language. It's not going to reduce us.
Okay, you've been organizing a festival for Adire. This is about the third one that you are doing. Tell us, why are you doing that to celebrate Adire and culture?
Yes, thank you, because it's not just Adire we are celebrating. We call it Adire and Cultural Festival, and it is based on what we have been discussing since we started this program. It is about sustaining our heritage. And we're not just doing this at Ashani and Aduke Foundation. We're trying to, the festival is to showcase, encourage people and let them know that we actually getting results, because when the youths come around and they see the past one that we have empowered, see what they have done, it will be a source of encouragement for them, you know, to know that this thing is worth it. Not just Adire, but knowing that we can actually sustain, protect our heritage in all ramifications. And that's why we have come up to say every year, let's celebrate this, let's showcase the champions, the ones that have given themselves. We are not just training them to make Adire, we teach them Iwa Omoluabi.
Okay, you are teaching character too.
Yes.
Okay, well, you've been listening to culture as fundamentals for authentic storytelling. And my guest has been Dr. Lizzie. Dr. Lizzie has been unpacking the thing for us. So we want to thank you, Dr. Lizzie, for your very comprehensive analysis.
Thank you very much.
And the role of culture.
Thank you very much.
We've learned a lot on the program.
Thank you.
So that's the size of the package for today. Until next week, when we come your way again with a fresh edition of the program. This is yours sincerely, Dare FOLARIN, saying bye for now.